I made it. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the big show. My name is Mickey. This is Mickey in the Middle, the quintessential show for Middle Americans where all Middle Americans are welcome. It doesn't matter where you've been, doesn't matter where you're going, just matters that you're here right now. We are not prejudiced in any way. If you're not a Middle American, it's okay for you to be here. Look over the top of the curtain, look down into the stall, find out what we're doing over here. We're just regular old people. Wait a minute. We're just regular old people trying to be regular old people. There's not a secret. Holy smokes. I got all tangled up here. See, I am. My day went absolutely wonderful as a Middle American. Woke up this morning, took my truck in to a dealership to have them service the air conditioner on it because I worked on my vehicle this past weekend and I got it running again. And the air conditioner was out. So I took it into a fine business, Red River Ford in Cabot, Arkansas, where I am buying my new Ford F 150 hybrid truck because I love the environment. And it's a badass truck. So I took it in there. Then I came home after they got done. They did a quick and amazing job. And now I have air conditioning again. And then I mowed the lawn. And it took me about an hour and a half to mow the lawn. And then went over to Sharp Dentistry, my local dentist, after I cracked a tooth last week. And they put in a temporary crown. I got a crown today. What else did I do? I went and got some food. I don't know, man. It was just one of those days where it was just absolutely wonderful the way that everything worked out, and it was absolutely great. And that is what being a Middle American is about. Stop by a neighbor, met a new neighbor today. Fantastic person. So, Cecil, if you're watching, I just want to say it's very, very nice to meet you. And it was absolutely fantastic to know that you're now my neighbor. So, and then I packed because you know what I'm doing tomorrow? Tomorrow I'm leaving the state of Arkansas and I am traveling and I'm going to go through Tennessee and then I'm going to go up through Kentucky and I'm going to stay in Kentucky tomorrow night because a friend of mine said on the old Facebook said, "Hey, I'm going to be up here and love to see everybody." And I was like, "Hey, I will go up there, Bardstown, something like that, Kentucky." So that's where I'm going to go tomorrow. Bardstown. Bardstown. That's where I'm going tomorrow. So we are on our way. It's going to be an absolutely fantastic thing. So, all right. So, what are we doing tonight? What are we doing tonight? I'm not prepared for this. I'm going to tell you right now. I'm not prepared for this. I'm kind of prepared for this because I've been preparing stuff all week long, and I've got stuff in my handy dandy notes. But one of the things that I wanted to talk about is I wanted to talk about how things are supposed to work because 51 people were found in a trailer on the border down in Texas, and 51 people were killed inside of a 18-wheeler tractor trailer, and that is an unbelievable tragedy about which is indicative of what is going on our southern borders. And I want to talk about how things are supposed to work in the United States of America. Before we do that, let's go to the Chat Olympics. And let's see who's in there. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, on top for the first time in a long time, Darla Jo Stewart Bennett hitting in with a gold. Congratulations to Darla. That is absolutely fantastic. Carolyn Greg's Ledger bumped her out of the top spot and put her into silver. And here's what the deal is. She's been on top so long, I would just like to say congratulations to Carolyn Greg's Ledger for having such a fantastic run of gold medal performances for such a long time over the last couple of weeks. That was absolutely awesome. And then coming in third is Susie Goebel. Congratulations, Susie. Moving from silver medal Susie down to the bronze medal, but congratulations to that. Cannot tell you how happy I am that you have tuned in. So Mark Calcaterra is here, and it was an unbelievably beautiful day. I was on my motorcycle all day long. My jaw's starting to hurt a little bit. Uh-oh. We're gonna see how this tooth goes in. But it's gonna be it's gonna be a great day because tomorrow I'm gonna go travel to Bardstown, Kentucky, which is gonna be awesome. And Darla Jo says my family is in and from Kentucky. My great grandfather had a tobacco farm in Bardstown. Hey, there it is. That's it, Bardstown. There you go. So that is awesome. I have the leaf weight medal. Mark Calcaterra, there you go. I love that. The leaf weight medal. Lead. Here's what the deal is. Don't lick the lead and don't paint your house with it. That's all I got to say right there. All right. So a moment of silence for the people that died in the tractor trailer trying to get to the place where they had the best opportunity of freedom. This is the land of opportunity. I cannot stress that enough. This is the land of opportunity. This is the land of guaranteed rights through the Constitution of the United States. They actually wrote a section of the Constitution specifically for the people called the Bill of Rights. And that's why people want to come here from all over the world. It doesn't matter whether it's from Mexico, from El Salvador, Honduras, Costa Rica, Ukraine, Russia, China, Japan, Korea. It doesn't matter. Everybody wants to come here because we are the land of opportunity and we have what they call the Bill of Rights. It's written in where they looked at the people and they said, you have these rights, people. That's why everybody wants to come here. And it's an absolute shame that our government can't get their shit together enough to make it happen without a controversy. This should not be controversial. I'm telling you that. It should not be controversial. This is an easy one for both sides to agree on, but they don't want you to know that it's easy to agree on if Congress gets off their ass. So without further ado, I'd like to take a moment of silence just to say, if you're a praying person like I am, then you can pray to your God, right? We're going to get to praying here in just a second. I'm not endorsing a religion, but I am a praying person. And if you're not, I would just like you to send good thoughts to the friends and family of those who died in that tractor trailer rig down there in Texas. So here we go. Please take a moment. Thank you very much. It's incredibly sad. It's incredibly sad that we have the situation at the border that we have because this is an incredibly simple thing that we can solve right now. The White House had the unmitigated balls to say, through Jean-Pierre, the press secretary, she said, this proves that the border is closed because people are killing themselves. I'm paraphrasing. People are willing to get in tractor trailers and come in here. And as a result of their efforts to get in here, because we're doing such a kick-ass job on the southern border, that people have died as a result. What did the Republicans do? The Republicans immediately went, this is Biden's fault. He killed those people because he's got a screwed up border policy. It's everybody's fault that nobody has taken the horns and taken the reins of this situation and solved it. Here's what the thing is. If you're a Democrat, finish the damn wall. Finish the damn wall. That's the first thing. That stops the fentanyl. And it stops the sex smuggling trade, the human trafficking that everybody's always bitching about. But you got to stop the fentanyl and you got to stop that. The second thing is, if you want everybody in the world to be able to come to the United States, just freaking say that. You damn cowards. Just say it. Hey, look here, man. We're flinging open the southern border. And anybody who wants to come on in can come on in. Because that's what's happening right now. Because Jean-Pierre just said, it proves that we've got a closed southern border. Well, ma'am, if it is closed, how come 250,000 people that you know about came in without proper authorization last month? If this proves that the border is closed, how in the hell did 250,000 come across? Think about that. All of you Democrats, listen to me. I'm all for everybody in the world coming here if they can get here. I'm all for it if that is our policy. We just need to know their names. We need to know where they're from. We need to be able to have their fingerprints on file. We need to be able to say, hey, where are you going in the country so that we can have infrastructure there? Are you going to have some support there? Are you going to have this? But no, they come in, they do their thing, and then they kick them in, and later that's going to be adjudicated in court. But we know that through the statistics, 90% of those people are not going to show up in court. So now they're just floating as human beings inside of the United States of America without status. They're people without a country. Now, the Constitution of the United States of America says, in the follow-on things in the 14th Amendment says, citizens and non-citizens will all have the equal rights, which is great. Citizens and all non-citizens will have equal rights. But the thing is that when you have somebody that doesn't have a status in the country, that means that they're legal and they're open to be deported at any time, and that scares the shit out of people. We got millions of dreamers in this country. I don't even know how many they have, but guess what? We're doing okay with them being here. So before anybody goes, we need to kick out all the dreamers. No, we don't need to kick out all the dreamers. I'm telling you right now, we could use the dreamers. Right now, you can't go out in the United States of America and start in Kansas and start making concentric circles around bigger and bigger and bigger concentric circles and start picking off who's an illegal alien and who is not. The person that is an engineer, the person that is doing traffic, the person that is at a grocery store, the person that's mowing the lawn, the person that has started a business. You can't tell who's illegal and who's not illegal. You go into Texas, you go into California, you go into Louisiana, Arizona, New Mexico. Listen, man, people are people. There's no such thing as people. There's no such thing as a worthless person in the United States of America. Nobody's worthless. Everybody has value. Everybody's contributing to our society. They're like, well, they stay on welfare. Well, their kids don't stay on welfare. I know too many successful people that have migrated to the United States of America. Matter of fact, I just hired one of the people that migrated to our country that opened up a business, is now employing 10 people. And he just rebuilt my fence and he pressure washed my driveway and he took care of my mailbox. And he's going to do my entire house later. He does everything around the neighborhood. And guess what? He's opened up a business and he's employing people, and he came from Mexico. Well, did he come here the right way? I don't care whether he came here the right way. What I do know is he is operating a legal business in the state of Arkansas, and he has a contractor's number and he has insurance. So I'm assuming that he came here the right way. But even if he didn't come here the right way, that doesn't mean that he's not contributing to society. And I can't tell, because he told me, he says, well, I came from Mexico. My entire family came from Mexico. But you can't tell me that he is worth less because he wasn't born here. And aren't we all about equal rights? And aren't we out about equal protection? 250,000 people. We have 300. How many people we have in the United States of America? Go. Right now we have 334 million people in America. 334 million people in America. Last month, 250,000 people came across the border. That means that every 4 months, 1 million people are being added to the population. We all know that the population of the United States is decreasing because we're not having enough children. We're depopulating because everybody's either choosing not to have children or to only have one. Whereas before, when we were growing at extraordinary numbers, this number right here that I'm about to show you was growing. It was like pop, 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 pop. This number right here was getting bigger. This is a live view of the population of the United States of America right now. People that are dying, people that are being born. 334,903,000. You'll see this number change while we're sitting here. Let me just bump that and make sure that, right? 334,903,646. This number a couple of years ago, that number was whizzing. Thousands of people every single day. That number 10 years or 5 years ago was whizzing. Now it's stagnant. Now, here's what the problem is. Sometimes we're going to get into a depopulation thing. We need somebody to keep us going. That means that we need to have a border policy that is brought to us by Congress because they're the ones that are supposed to make the rules. When they make the rules, that's supposed to be signed by the president. The president is supposed to enforce the laws. But they're not supposed to be undercut by the judiciary that says, hey, look here, you're not allowed to do that because it's not humane, or that's not the way that, it's amnesty. So we're going to take everybody that comes across the border. Do you know why we have a problem with the border? Because Congress has not made one rule how to adjudicate asylum. Everybody that comes across goes, oh yeah, I was beat up. I was beat up down where I come from, and I'm threatened by my country, and I long to be free, and I can't do it where I came from. Well, all of them are supposed to stop in Mexico because the international treaty says you're allowed to go to the first safe country. Well, in most cases, that's a Central American country. They don't have to come to the United States. Technically, they're supposed to stop in Mexico because Mexico is a free democratic state and they're not being threatened in Mexico. But when they get to the United States, if they get here in the United States of America, all they have to do is get across the border, get across the closed border. And if they're across the closed border, the people that were in the truck, they probably paid extra to not walk across the desert and not have to cross the Rio Grande River. That's why they were in the truck. Hey, yeah, we'll pay extra for you to drive us there. And they go, well, the only way to drive there is by getting in this truck. And they're like, here's a couple extra $1,000. We will all get in this truck. That's what happens when you don't have a policy in place that absolutely adjudicates every single one of these cases immediately. 250,000 people, thousands of people every single day, because Congress will not adjudicate or fix what is defined as asylum. Oh, they all have to go to court. They don't have to go to court. Let the people at the Border Patrol make those decisions. Get them out there. Everybody that comes in, hey, how you doing? That is awesome. Welcome to the United States of America. Where are you from? What's your name? Where are you going? How are we going to contact you? You don't have to go to court. When you get in, you get a green card. Hey, how about that? You get a green card so that we know who you are and we know where you're at and you can pay freaking taxes. Simple fact of the matter is our population is not growing and we need people. Well, that's fantastic if they want to come and be free, if they want to have liberty. The difficult and the crazy shit about this is they're fighting but doing nothing. Could you imagine fighting this long, this hard about immigration, and Congress and the president and the Senate not being able to come up with any agreement for 20 freaking years? That's insanity. Close the border, let everybody in. How hard is that? Build a wall. Open up the doors. Damn. Lane Calcaterra says, hey. Susie Go says, yes, sir. Text me, please. Text me his number, please. Whose number am I texting? Well said. Correct. All right. I don't know. I got to find out. All right. So anyway, Next thing on the agenda, and I absolutely love this. This is one of my favorite stories of all time. Supreme Court sides with a coach who sought to pray after game. So, what happened? Justices said the coach's prayer was protected by the First Amendment. The decision is also the latest in the line of Supreme Court rulings for religious plaintiffs. The Supreme Court on Monday sided with a football coach from Washington State who sought to kneel and pray on the field after games. Court ruled 6-3 along ideological lines for the coach. The justice said the coach's prayer was protected by the First Amendment. The Constitution and the best of our tradition counsel mutual respect and tolerance, not censorship and suppression for religious and non-religious views alike, Justice Neil Gorsuch wrote for the majority. The case forced the justices to wrestle with how to balance the religious and free speech rights of teachers and coaches with the rights of students not to feel pressured into participating in religious practices. The outcome could strengthen the acceptability of some religious practices in the public school setting. Now, you want to hear some crazy stuff? There have places. All right, so for those of you who do not know, many people in the Muslim religions pray multiple times every single day. They'll pray in the morning, they'll pray mid-morning, they'll pray at lunch, they'll pray around noon, they'll pray in the afternoon, pray in the evening, and then pray late in the evening. And they all have to face Mecca, and they have a prayer rug, and they have a prayer stone, and that's one of their religious customs. And do you know what they do at a lot of these schools and a lot of these businesses and a lot of these things? They have created spaces for Muslims to go pray inside of the buildings where they work so that they can participate in prayer while they are going to school. Now, here's the amazing thing about that. It's okay. But the other thing is that nobody's going to fight that. But they want to fight a Christian who's going to go by himself on the field, kneel down and pray and say thank you for whatever they were saying, whether it was for the good outcome of the game or for the safety of the players, or I don't know what the person was saying when they were praying. I don't know. I don't care. But the simple fact of the matter is, just because somebody's praying in school does not mean that the school nor the government is endorsing it. I take us back to the First Amendment of the Constitution of the United States of America. How fucking hard is this? Congress shall make no laws respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof. That's not hard. The government's not allowed to say we're Christian, and you will be Christian. The government cannot say we are declaring we are Muslim. We have a lot of countries that are run by religions. Has anybody ever heard of the Vatican? That's an entire country run by a religion called the Catholic Church. Totally run by religion. Totally straight down the road, run by the Pope, which is the leader of the Catholic Church. Iran, Iraq, all fundamental Muslim countries with fundamental religious leaders. Tibet, run by the Dalai Lama. If that's not a religiously run country, you can kiss my ass. But in the United States of America, you're not allowed to be a religion and a government. But it doesn't mean that you can't have religion for people that are associated with the government. You can't make people pray, but you can have a moment of silence like I did at the beginning of the show where I said, hey, we're going to give you the opportunity to have a moment. If you would like to pray to any God, any religion, anything, if you would just like to have a moment to meditate and be one with the universe, which is some kind of a religion out there, you're allowed to do that. Everybody in psychology understands that there's physical health, emotional health, mental health, physical health, spiritual health. There's emotional health, spiritual. Anyway, there's like 5 different categories of health. Spiritual is one of those. And we recognize that people have a spiritual connection with something, whether they accept that as being religious or not. If they're agnostic, that their religion is that they don't believe that they believe that there's a higher power, a higher spirit, but they don't know how to define that. Atheist is a religion of no religion. There is no God. There is no higher being. We're just here by a great big huge accident. When we die, it's all going to be done. But it doesn't say that there will be no religion. It says that the government will not establish a religion. I will read it again. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof. I don't understand how it was a 6-3 decision. I don't understand how it was 6-3. This should have been a slam dunk 9-0. But we can agree to disagree. But this goes back to Roe v. Wade being turned over. Can we agree to disagree? Or are we going to burn the court down for this decision too? Are we going to pack the court? We're going to destroy the court? That's what everybody up in Congress is saying. So all the Democrats in Congress, there are such whiny, bitchy people. Oh, the Supreme Court. Oh. Look, man. They're nominated by the president, confirmed by the Senate. This is your fault. This is the Senate's fault. I will repeat this. This is the Senate's fault. The Senate agreed to let those people on the court. Well, they were all Republicans. Well, guess what? How do you think all the Democrats got there? And here's another thing. Let's go back to Roe v. Wade. When Roe v. Wade was codified into law and established that, did everybody just go pack the court? Did everybody say destroy the justices? Did everybody just burn everything to the ground? I know there was some violence. I know that some abortion clinics were bombed and some people were killed. That's no good either. That's not the way that anybody should act after a decision, whether you like it or you don't like it. You're not supposed to be criminal. We're supposed to be civilized. And you have to understand that when you're civilized, if stuff don't go your way all the time, you can't be a big-ass baby about it. How hard is this? It's not hard. Don't be a baby. Take your losses. Go and get elected to Congress. Go and support somebody who's running that supports your ideas. Talk to your friends. Talk to your neighbors. Build support and consensus. This is why, after my last night's broadcast, I have decided to kind of reconsider. I went back and I read the decision again, and I was like saying historical precedents, because I need everybody to understand why I was saying that the historical precedents inside of the Supreme Court was actually a bad idea. You don't get your rights from history. You get your right. The way that you get rights is because they are conferred upon you by a higher power, and everybody has them. But I need everybody to understand why the court went with the history argument. Because the history argument really is a compelling argument against abortion. When you read it, this is what they said on page 2 of the decision. The court's decision have held that due process clause protects 2 categories of substantive rights, those rights guaranteed by the first, and those rights deemed fundamental that are not mentioned anywhere in the Constitution. In deciding whether a right falls into either of these categories, the question is whether the right is deeply rooted in our history and tradition, and whether it is essential to this nation's scheme of ordered liberty. And that comes from Timms versus Indiana, and is an internal quotation that that were internal quotation marks were omitted, right? The term liberty alone provides little guidance, thus, historical inquiries are essential whenever the court asks to recognize a new component of the liberty interest. In interpreting what is meant by liberty, the court must guard against natural human tendencies to confuse what the 14th Amendment protects with the court's own ardent views about the liberty that Americans should enjoy. For this reason, the court has been reluctant to recognize rights that are not mentioned in the Constitution. Collins versus Harkins Heights, 501 U.S. 115, 125. Guided by the history and traditions that map essential components of the national conception of ordered liberty, court finds that the 14th Amendment clearly does not protect the right to an abortion. Until the latter part of the 20th century, there was no support in American law for constitutional right to obtain an abortion. Here's why that's important. Until the end of the 20th century, there was no support in American law for constitutional right to obtain an abortion. There wasn't one. No state constitutional provision had recognized such a right. Until a few years before Roe, no federal or state court had even recognized such a court. It says it right there. Until a few years before Roe, no federal or state court had recognized such a right, nor had any scholarly treatise. Indeed, abortion had long been a crime in every single state. At common law, abortion was criminal, and at least some stage of pregnancy was regarded as unlawful and could have very serious consequences at all stages. American law followed common law until the wave of statutory restrictions in the 1800s expanded criminal liabilities for abortion. By the time the 14th Amendment was adopted, 3/4 of the states had made abortion a crime at any stage of pregnancy. I will repeat, a right should not be based on history. But it should be based on the moral attitudes of the people. And right now, that moral attitude has changed towards abortion. I showed you the chart the other day that said 60% of older people are against abortion, and 60 to 70% of younger people are for having some access to abortions. That's a huge demographic switch that was brought on by Roe in the last 50 years. And we have to realize that when you have a changing demographic, that means that history changes, because history is a change, is change by nature. So that's why when the court says history, they are wrong. When the court says, what is the people, how is it? And that's why the court shouldn't be deciding these things. The court should not be deciding what is a right and what is a not right. It should be written down into law. That's why they said in the first 8 amendments, things like, I don't know, religion, speech, the press, assemblage, redress of grievances, right to bear arm, not to have people housed in your house in time of war, to be secure in your possession, to not be self-incriminatory. And I don't mean to get deep on you at the end of the show, but all of these things are related, that when you cannot pray on a field, but it's clearly your right that you can pray, just because you're telling me that if you're employed by the state, you're not allowed to say a prayer before you go to work or at lunch or pray that a project works good? You're not allowed to institute that as a government process because it infringes on other people's rights. But if we all understand that, then we can be cool with it. And if a Muslim comes in to work in the government and they go, hey, I need to pray 5 times a day, you just go, awesome. How can we make that happen for you? If a Christian says, hey, look here, man, I'm going to go and pray after I get done with work on the field in which I do my thing, that's great too. All I'm saying is there are reasonable positions in the middle of all of these things, starting at the border, working their way up through Roe versus Wade. And that's why it's pushed back to the states. The court came up with the wrong reasons, but they made the right decision because these decisions in a changing demographic have to go back to the states so that the states can decide based on the population of each state. California is going to be different than Arkansas. Arkansas is going to be different than Georgia. Georgia is going to be different than Michigan. If you take and you make one law for all, then all of a sudden you are not taking into consideration the people's right to choose at the local level. And there you have it. So, without further ado, I'm out of time. So anyway, tomorrow morning at 8:00, I'm leaving my house. I'm going to go to Bardstown, Kentucky, and I'm going to drink some bourbon tomorrow night. So hopefully, I will be doing my show. But if you don't find me at 9 p.m. Central, right here wherever I am, right there wherever you are, please forgive me because I'm going to be on vacation. I'm going to try to do as many shows as I possibly can, but I can't guarantee anything. So I'm just going to let you know. I really appreciate everybody watching. I appreciate your comments. Oh, you need the Mexican handyman. Yes, I will get you Alex's number. I will get you his number. Butthurt babies coming back after the dead to haunt the government. I'm coming back to the government after. I love that. That is absolutely fantastic. And then Darla Joe says, you'll love Bardstown. It's beautiful. Stephen Foster, Winter, Susan. Oh, Susanna. Oh, don't you die for me. Old Kentucky Home was there. That's Jim Beam still has a factory. That's awesome. So anyway, you guys have a great night. Thank you very much for tuning in. Remember, Mickey in the Middle, 9 p.m. Central, right here wherever I am. For the next couple of weeks, who knows? But right there, wherever you are, remember to like, share, hit the notification bell, tell all your friends about it. You guys have a great night. And remember, good night, small one. I love you. See ya.